What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, we've got the LS2 sitting here that you guys might have seen in a video or two back that we pulled the engine out of the GTO. So we've got our box of parts and we've got a few things laid out here that we're going to start on today. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to be starting on the CHE Precision, the Trunnion upgrade kit. It's a nice looking little kit here. Comes with a little bit of instructions on the box, decal, it's packaged pretty well. And it's just an all-around good-looking kit. I'm sure it's going to work out great for us. You've got your bushings and everything else in here. You got some snap rings, which is pretty cool. They give you an extra snap ring just in case you have one fly across the garage on you. And we've got some tools laid out. So it doesn't seem like we're going to need all that much stuff to do this today. You're going to need a spark plug socket to pull this, the plug so that we can turn the engine over freely. You're going to need a 7/8 and a 9/16 12-point socket. We're going to use those to push the old trunnions out of the stock rockers. We've got a nice new set of snap ring pliers. We've got a torque wrench for when we put the rockers back together. And then the rockers are an 8mm and so are the valve cover bolts. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright guys, so we're all set up here. We're going to get started on it. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull all the plugs, get rid of all of our compression, make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Then when we're ready, we'll go ahead and pop these valve covers off, and then we can get at the rockers and start taking those out. I'll show you guys along the way how we're going to do it and which rockers to do at what time, or at least how I'm going to do it. I did go ahead and make these spark plug holders. I needed them anyways. They're handy to have around. I had a couple pieces of wood laying around, so I just went ahead and used a step bit and numbered them and stuff so we knew which plug went where, and it actually worked out pretty good. I tried a spark plug in there, and the bottom hole that I put in it is like perfect. It holds a spark plug nice and tight, so that's kind of handy to have. But let's go ahead and set up here, and we'll start taking this thing apart. That worked out pretty cool, guys. I like it. It holds them pretty good. Like I said, a little step bit. Make it yourself and super handy to have around. Let's go on over to the next side. Alright guys, so we got our plugs out as you've seen. Now we're going to go ahead and pop these valve covers off. As you guys can see, we got the valve covers and the spark plugs out, and now you can see the rockers and the springs and everything. These ones are from BTR. Been pretty happy with them so far. We did those when we did the stage 3 cam and the Johnson lifters and all that good stuff. We do have a stage 3 PDS cam from Brian Tooley Racing in this thing right now. It's going to work with our new combo. I think I've told you guys already, but we do have boost on the way. The cam isn't exactly ideal for what we're going with, but I think it's going to work out just fine. So, But let's go ahead and get this thing to cylinder 1 so we can start taking the rockers off. Alright guys, you can see I've got my ratchet on the crank here. We're gonna start right here. We're gonna keep rotating the crank until we're probably gonna see this guy go down, and then as it comes up, this one's gonna start going down. We're gonna keep going until this one has came all the way back up and stopped, and we're gonna go just a little bit past that, and then we should be able to take both of these off. Alright, you can see that one starting to go down. It's on its way back up. Now this one's starting to go down. Gonna keep going just a little bit. That one is about all the way back up. We went just a little bit more, and now these two should be loose. Yep, so now we can go ahead and pop those two off. Alright guys, we're about to start popping these two rockers off. As you've seen, we just brought them up to where they need to be. I did want to go ahead and take a second and mention, I forgot to tell you guys, but if you noticed the rocker arms here on an LS2, these are all straight. These heads are actually LS3 heads. So I just wanted to go ahead and mention that, guys, so you aren't confused or something like that. But we're going to go ahead and pop these guys off now and start putting the trunnions in them. So as you see, we got our rocker up here on the bench. This is where the 9/16 and 7/8 socket's going to come into play. We're going to use this socket on the side of the rocker that has the flats. As you can see, the other side does not. So we're gonna end up setting our rocker kind of like this, and then we're gonna be using our smaller socket here, and we're gonna use it like that to push the actual trunnion out. Another tool I did forget to mention to you guys is you're either gonna need some sort of vise, which a lot of guys use, or you could use a hydraulic press. We do have both here, but I figured for the bench and for what we're doing here, I think the vise will work out just fine. So let's go ahead and get this jigged up in the vise and get it apart. As you guys can see, we got our rocker jigged up here. So now we're gonna go ahead and start slowly tightening the vise. You wanna make sure that you've got everything lined up how you want it to be, which it looks like we do. Then it'll pop free just like that. Then you're just going to keep on working it out, and eventually it's going to fall. Just like that. And that is one pressed out. Show you what we've got when you're done. It's going to look something like this. And then where the problem comes in with the stock ones, as you can see this right here. See all those little needle bearings? And they're just a press fit. There's no snap ring or anything like that on these factory ones to hold those together. So what can happen is these can work their way out, and then you have all these little needle bearings that can go through your engine. So let's go ahead and get set up and we'll start putting the new ones together. Alright guys, so this next step, you're either going to want to use some engine oil. This is just what I particularly run in this car. But either engine oil or some assembly lube. We're probably just going to go ahead and use assembly lube this time. And we're going to put it into just any little clean plastic container. Dump some in here so that we can start dipping the little brass, or yeah, I think they're brass, bushings in the oil, and then I'll show you guys how to assemble these. I changed my mind, guys. We're gonna end up using this little thing for the oil. If I was using my regular motor oil, I'd probably use the other container, but I don't feel like using this whole bottle of lube, so we're just gonna use this little guy. It should be about perfect. Try that and see what happens. Alright, so first, if you guys check your rockers, if they have any burrs whatsoever, use a little piece of Scotch-Brite or something like that to clean them up. Ours, I don't know if you guys can see, but they're pretty perfect. I mean, I think if I use Scotch-Brite, I'd actually make it worse. So I'm going to go with what we have. The heads have only been together a very short time, so I don't see a reason to do that. So I'm just going to wipe off our parts here before I dip them in the oil. Looks good to me. Now we're going to take one of these little guys, dip it in the oil here. Going to take a rocker arm. Slide that one right in like that. Now we're going to take that and put it face down. We're going to grab one of our actual trunnions next. I'm going to dip both ends of the trunnion in the assembly lube. Now I'm gonna slide this in where our bushing is, just like so. Then we're gonna take another of the brass bushing. Gonna dip it in here again. Probably be a lot less messy if you used engine oil, but like I said, I had it, so I'm using it. We're going to set our bushing on like so. Now we're going to take a snap ring. And if you feel the snap ring, you're going to feel a side of it that has like a sharp inside edge. And then the other side's going to be a little bit less sharp. So we're going to take and put the sharper of the two edges facing up. Now you don't want to overstretch this snap ring if you can help it. So just enough to get it on, really. Now we're going to very gently flip it over, keeping our brass bushing in. Slide this one back in perfectly. Now we're going to take another snap ring. Sharp edge up. Just like that. And like I said, I just like to double check that mine is seated good all the way around. Personally, I like to try to line the snap rings up with the CHE. You don't have to do that by any means. That's just an OCD in me. And now this rocker is completely done. It's nice and smooth. And we are good to go. So let's go ahead and go back to the engine and we will put this one on. Alright guys, so I set my rocker down. I'm going to use just a tiny bit of blue Loctite on there. Alright, I got it fingered tight. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop this one off and repeat the same process, and then I will catch up with you guys right back here for the next step. As you guys can see, I just got this one done as well. So now I'm going to show you what I do next. So let me get you set up here. Alright, we're going to go back to our breaker bar. We got all these, or both of these, finger tight. We're going to go to our ratchet that we have on the crank, and we're going to turn the engine over. That one's going down, back up. This one's going down, back up. It's up, and we're going to go just a little bit more. And now we can go ahead and grab our torque wrench, set at 22 foot-pounds. I'm going to go ahead tighten these down. That's 22. And now we are going to move on to the next set. Basically repeat the exact same process, and then once we get all 8 done, we're going to turn the engine over another 360 degrees, and then I will go through and double check all the torques, and I will get back with you guys when we're doing that. Alright, so we've got all of the trunnions in. They came out pretty good. I think they look sweet. I'm sure they're gonna work a lot better. They weren't that bad, just a little bit time consuming. I went through and I showed you guys how we turn it over, torque everything down. Now the only thing left that we've got to do is throw the valve covers on it, and we will be done with this thing. Alright guys, well that wraps up the CHE Trunnion upgrade. I'm pretty pumped. We're getting this thing pretty dang close to going in the car. We did receive 2 boxes today from UPS. I'm going to just call them boost boxes for now. I'm not going to tell you guys what they are. We will go over it in an upcoming video. We have a few more little things to do to this LS before we get ready to drop it in the car. We've got an oil pump, some ARP bolts, and some other little things that we've got to do. As I told you guys before, it does already have the stage 3 PDS cam in it, which is going to work for what we're doing. Not ideal, but it will work. And we've got the 823 heads on it, as well as a few other little things. But for today, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. As always, guys, thanks for checking out the channel. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And we will catch you on the next one.